So you know what I love? What I love is shooting a whole video and then having that video not saved properly to the card, and you get to do it again. I don't love that. I don't love that at all. Today what we're doing is I'm going to do my final review of this Huawei Matebook 14S. Now, I've been using this laptop probably for about the past 2 to 3 months, and it has been my daily use computer really for anything that's kind of work related, anything outside of me editing my videos, because of the fact that I use specific software that is on that computer that won't work here. So I want to make sure your question as to why I don't use it for everything is because it's app specific, right? The other thing to kind of realize is that we are going to not really delve into the specs of this. There's a lot of videos out there that have all the specs and information, and you can go to Huawei's page and get some of that. We will talk about some of the specs that I find important, but really I want to talk more about my experience with this computer, because I'm not a big believer in specs are the be-all end-all of everything. It's really about the user experience. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all the kind of usages that I put into it, the hardware and the specs that I really find important, and we'll run down. I've got a list. We'll run down a bunch of things that we want to talk about, and then give you my final thoughts on the Huawei Matebook 14S. Okay, so like I said, I've been using this computer for email and web browsing and messaging, and I've actually done some video work on it. Gaming, which was surprising. I primarily use a Mac system, and because of that, gaming is, it is what it is, right? But this has been, I've traveled with this in the last few months. It's been really good. So here's my take. Again, I've got my notes up. Build quality of this computer. I'm gonna say there's a few. Here's the main one. I think in my own head that they've taken a lot of cues from the MacBook Air, which is a great thing, which is really good. That machine is fantastic. I believe this is a unibody, unibuild, whatever you want to call it, aluminum chassis. It is nice and thin, right? It's not the thinnest laptop out there, but for a 14-inch, really good. It's got, like, it's nice and sturdy. Like, you're not going to get a lot of flex to it. Screen-wise, it's really good. It's got a little bit of a bevel on the screen, but nothing that you're going to complain about. In regards to ports, you're looking at a full-size USB-A. I think it's version 3.2 Gen 1, I believe. On the other side, you have 2 USB-C ports, an HDMI port, and a headphone jack. Now realize on the i7 version, which is the one I have, it's a USB-C / Thunderbolt combo. So if you want Thunderbolt, which I do, that i7 version is the one that it comes with. If you see one of these Matebook 14Ss with the i5 in it, those are just USB-C only, so just kind of be aware of that. But in regards to ports, that's what you get. For most of us, that's probably fine. Now, the other thing that's kind of nice, and I wasn't 100% sure when Huawei said that they were going to send me this, it's a 3:2 aspect ratio screen. So it's a lot taller than a lot of the current laptops out there that are maybe a 16 by 10, 16 by 9, somewhere in that range. But that 3:2 gives you that extra vertical height, which actually is really nice. Now, if you're going to buy a laptop specifically and only for like watching movies and stuff like this, number one, this is overkill. Two is that you're going to enjoy the 16 by 9 screen. But for those of us that are doing spreadsheets and doing word processing and doing things on the internet and doing like web browsing and email and stuff like that, having that extra vertical is actually really nice. We've seen that in a lot of people that have big studio displays or studio setups, I guess, that a lot of times they'll take a second monitor and spin it so it's actually very tall, right? Because having some apps in that orientation can be nice. So that 3x2, I actually really like. I didn't think I would, but yeah, I'm down with it. The other thing to realize too is this has 2 modes in it for refresh rate, so you can be in 60 hertz or 90. If you're just floating around the computer doing whatever, working on a spreadsheet or doing some typing or something like that, 60 hertz is probably what I would suggest setting it at, because it's going to be a little better on battery. But you can set it to 90 hertz. So if you are doing a lot of scrolling, you'll notice the 90 hertz. It'll just seem a lot smoother. If you are gaming, you will notice the 90 hertz, which is a lot smoother. And we will talk about gaming later. And that is, it's a really easy thing to switch here. I say it's really easy, then of course I screw this up. I think it's function R, maybe? Yeah. And then you'll see it says 60 hertz on the screen. I hit function R again. It'll go to 90 hertz. So 90 hertz, better performance, of course, but you are going to see a little bit of a hit in regards to battery. And again, we'll talk about battery later. But I'm going to switch it back to 60 right now because I'm not really doing anything and I want to get as much battery life as possible. Keyboard-wise, again, if you're familiar with a Mac keyboard, it's kind of got that same kind of travel in it, right? So it's fairly clicky, which I kind of like. Because I am used to that kind of keyboard, really enjoy this. I really like it. A lot of people like a keyboard that has a lot of travel or a mechanical keyboard. You may find this a little different to get used to, but I've been super pleased with it. All the keys layout, the reaction, or how good they are, like for just typing, zero complaints at all. It's quite nice. It does have a few extra. Of course, it is a backlit keyboard. Now it is a keyboard that has, I want to say, 3 levels. So off, on, and brighter. Off, medium, brighter, I guess. And basically it's the F3 key. So you can see when you hit it here, it's going to go on. It's going to go a little brighter. And of course it's off. Now that's nice. Now even when it's at full brightness, it's not crazy bright. But I was on a plane a week or 2 ago, and it was dark, and turning that keyboard light on was fine. So it does what it needs to do, and it works, and it's just one key hit. Or depending on what you have it set, it doesn't seem to like auto enable, but if it senses that it's dark out and you hit a key, then it kind of just turns the keyboard light on. So that's also kind of nice. So I like that. Speakers and microphone. So this has on it, on the bottom here, you guys may be able to see it. Speaker-wise, you're looking at 2 speakers right here. Sound actually surprisingly good, better than I expected them to be. So are they going to be the best like gaming speakers out there? No, but again, this is a business laptop. If you want to be able to watch your YouTube videos or whatever videos, or you're in a Zoom call or whatever, the speakers are going to be very adequate. No complaints at all for the little speakers that they are. I think that because they're on the bottom, you know, if you have it on a desk or anything, they get that nice like bottom firing, so they get that nice reflective off your desk, which helps them to seemingly produce some better lower end sound. Plus, they just sound a little fuller. This is running something called the Huawei Sound. What is that? I don't know. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know what it means, but speaker-wise, sound good. Oh, I should have showed you this. Microphone-wise, maybe you can see that right there somewhere. 4 microphones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fine. They're fine. You know what? If you want really good, get an external microphone. I may recommend that for some of us, for sure, right? Here's probably one of the downfalls, of course, especially nowadays if you're buying a laptop and using it as a business tool, especially with a lot of us working from home, is the webcam. Now, I'm going to say that the webcam in itself, I don't know if I can even bring this up, is not great, you guys. It's okay, right? It's not that it's horrible or anything. See if I can record something here.
This is it in my room right here. I'll see if I can actually get this video here, and if so, then you'll see it. 720p. You guys are also hearing the microphones that are picking up. Is this okay? For a lot of us, for sure, it would be just fine. But if you're in low light, you will see it get noisy fairly quick. And if you're someone that's really like peculiar or particular about your image quality, then you may want a bit better. 720p again just feels soft. Love to see them either just make 720p a bit better, make the camera better, especially in lower light, or get up to a 1080p. But there you go. There's the webcam.
I do like the fact that the webcam is actually on the top. In some of their previous ones, they had it down on the keyboard, which kind of gave you this up the nose look. Having one up there, kind of nice. Some people may wish, and I've seen it on some laptops, that they have like a little cover that can cover the actual webcam. I would have liked to have seen one of those as well, but you can buy something that you can put over that if that's a concern. In regards to security, this laptop actually really nice because it does have like that facial ID, that facial recognition, so that when you turn on the laptop, if you have it set up for your face, as long as you're at the same right distance and the lighting is really good, it picks you up surprisingly well. So that worked good. If that doesn't, you have the fingerprint scanner down here. Again, fast. Between the two of them, I've never had an issue. But for whatever reason, if you do have an issue, you can put your pin in and off you go. But you got a couple ways of security which works really good. Super pleased, happy. This laptop does come in two different models. Now it comes in, I'm guessing a little bit here, the i5 version with the same thing, has the Iris chip in it for graphics, 8 gigs of RAM, and I believe a 512 gig hard drive. Where this one here, the one that I got, and this is the one that you get in Canada, is the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. So that's probably where I would go, especially running certain apps. I was bringing up system resources, and RAM was heavily in use. And you can definitely see, I think when the CPU and the GPU are working together, that i7 versus, let's say, the i5 definitely helps, especially if you're doing video editing, photo editing, playing any kind of games. There was definitely a big improvement. And again, I'll put links down below to some of the videos that I did in regards to that, where I put this machine up against an i5 machine, as well as a MacBook machine. So a couple options. But this configuration, again, the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM, working really well. I'm very pleased. Now it does have two power modes as well. So if you, again, I may get this right, I may get this wrong. I think it's function P? Yeah. So function P, you can go into performance mode, or function P again will go into balance mode. If you're doing just basic work around, work around the house, you're doing business work and stuff like that, I'd say balance mode is awesome. I love the fact that you can just change it with the keyboard hit. If you're playing games or doing video editing or photo editing or anything like that, where it's a little more system intensive, I would switch it into power mode. And just kind of be aware that if you're running off of battery, you can't go into performance mode. It has to stay in balance mode. So even to go into performance mode, it has to be plugged in and the battery has to be over 20%. So those two conditions have to be met for you to be able to switch into that. If you unplug this and try to go into performance mode, it says no. No. Big deal? Probably not. In regards to a work computer, honestly, it's really good. I've been super pleased with it. The trackpad works good. I love the keyboard. It's got enough ports. Of course, we'd all love more ports, but enough ports on it. Again, with the USB-A, which is great. The USB-C and the Thunderbolt on the i7 version. HDMI out if you want to use an external display, and of course headphones if you do have a wired set of headphones. Most of us probably have Bluetooth, and of course it includes that, but it does it all really good. Performance out of the i7 for business stuff with 16 gigs of RAM. I don't know why you'd need anything faster. I don't know what kind of business stuff that you're doing that requires that. I've had no issues having a spreadsheet up in the back. My wife actually does spreadsheets all the time, and she's been using this computer on and off every once in a while, and it's been great, right? It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and we've been really happy with it. In regards to battery for this, if you are kind of going to be portable and you are going to be running, again, more like business style applications, you're probably going to get that, I want to say, 9 to 10-ish, maybe hours, depending on how many apps you have open and running at the same time and how power intensive they are. That's kind of, I would say, like the maximum that you're going to get out of that. Of course, if you start running movies or video editing or doing photo stuff, that time's going to drop considerably. And that's really all laptops. I could see yourself dropping all the way down to 2 to 3 hours if you're going to have that CPU and GPU just racked right up. But that's part and parcel of a laptop running battery. To charge it, to get from about 0 to 80, you're looking at about an hour. And then to get from that 80 to 100, where it's kind of slow charges, you're looking probably in and around that 40-minute mark. Again, not too bad. You know what? If you have enough time, I love the fact that you can get up to 80% in about an hour. That's great. And again, if you're at the airport, you can plug it in at the airport. If you have an hour, you can get up to 80%, which is awesome. This does come with Windows 10 out of the box, but free upgrade to Windows 11. We've been running Windows 11 ever since we've got it, so we did all the upgrading. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember now if this came with Windows 10 out of the box. It may have come with Windows 11 because this machine that we got came out after Windows 11. I've upgraded so many computers, now I can't remember. Maybe it does come with Windows 11. I can't remember how I did the upgrade. Anyway, it runs really good on here. Some really nice features. The trackpad allows you to access, it's a multi-touch trackpad, so you can go in and play around with all kinds of stuff. Now, the other thing that it has that I didn't really talk about with the display is that if I bring this up, you guys may be able to see this. I'll kind of just tip this down a little bit, right? Check this out. Yeah, touchscreen. How cool is that, right? So you can kind of go in here and be like, oh, let's just enter this. Oh, I gotta just bring this down a little bit, or whatever you're doing, make that bigger. I want to go into my Google Docs, whatever it is, right? If you're a person that likes touchscreen stuff, you'll love that. I've never had a computer that's had touchscreen, so this is new, and very often I just completely forget that it's there. But it's there. So if you like that, you're gonna love that. It works good. We'll talk about the downfall of it, of course, in a minute. We talked about office work, right? Business work or work from home work. Video editing, it's capable. That's what I'll put. I did a full video down below. I'll put it in the description in regards to that. But yeah, very capable. You know what? If you're using a program like Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or anything like that, Windows now has its new clip something. I can't remember what it's called. What is it called? Clip Champ right here. You'll be happy, right? I've been working with 4K video, Insta360 video from my Sony camera. It's fine. Is there a bit more rendering sometimes? Well, video is a waiting game. It is what it is. But it plays it all good. Happy. It's functional. It's good. What about gaming? Surprise, surprise. You're not going to be able to game on this at high, right? At high, not when you're high, but at high levels, right? High textures, high resolution, high all that stuff. But you can game. I've got my wired controller plugged into this, my little Xbox controller. I've been playing like Forza 5. I've been playing Tomb Raider. I've been playing, I can't even remember what it's called. I'll see if I can bring it up here because I just started playing it. Again, you don't get to play it in the high resolution, but here it is. Death Stranding. Yeah, that's it right there. But you can play it. It just cuts the resolution down a little bit, right? But you get actually a decent frame rate. I've been getting anywhere from 30 to 50 in that range, frames per second. Yeah, I'm down. At least I can play them. So, Can you play AAA titles? Yeah, so far I would say yes. They're just not going to be graphically like wow, right? They're good though. They're fine. In my previous experience with a non-gaming laptop, you know what? They didn't play well. This was surprising. I was like, all right, that's good. Now, I'm not saying that games a year from now are going to be super playable. I have no idea. But as of now, we're good. Now, for those of you that have other Huawei products, especially like their tablets or phones, this does have like the Huawei share feature and all that, so you'd be able to share documents and stuff between those two. It's kind of a Huawei little universe. It's the Huawei Extended Universe, the HEU, I think they're calling it. Nobody calls it that. I'm calling it that. But it allows you, when you have those, to be able to have them all kind of synchronize and send files between each other. It's kind of cool, right? So if you are someone that likes all the Huawei gear, you're good. So here's the positives, right? Here's the positives. Here's my thoughts after, like I said, 2 to 3 months. I love it. It's a great laptop. It does everything that I need a laptop to do. Now, it doesn't do any of the things that some of us may wish it could do, like the high-end gaming and, oh, I want it to video edit so I don't have to wait forever. But it's not designed to do that. That's not its purpose. You can go out and spend 2-3 times the amount of this computer, and maybe you'll get that. But if you're using it for, work from home, work at the office, you're going to school, you're any of that kind of stuff, you are going to be ridiculously pleased, I think, with this laptop. But it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect. We talked about it a little bit, but the webcam and the microphones, they're okay. They're fine. The webcam, in my opinion, it needs a bit of help. I'd love to see them spend a bit more time and put some time and energy, I guess, into the webcam to make it a bit better, just a little bit better. Nobody wants to spend necessarily this much money on a computer because you're looking at Canadian, I believe, in and around the $1,500-$1,600 mark, and still need to go out and buy a better webcam, right? So it's there. I would just like it to be better. Big deal? Not necessarily, and it's really just coming from someone that uses cameras a lot. The other thing that I would love, and you know what, for me, as a content creator, I would love to see them add an SD card reader. Oh, look at all the space over here. That's screaming to have an SD card reader in it. Just one right there, or in the front. I don't even care where it is. SD card reader. This would be like super. Oh man. Oh yeah. Last thing. This is the last thing, and this is, you know what? I want to say it's nitpicky, but it's there, so be aware of it. The screen on this is glossy, right? It's a glossy screen, which means everything looks when it's in a really controlled, like, dark room, everything looks just fantastic on it. It's not the brightest. It's only coming in around 400 nits, but 400 nits is fine. I've taken this out in the day, and everything's viewable. It works great. But glossy, super nice, super contrasty, which is great when you're watching stuff and playing it, but also really reflective, right? So it reflects everything, so just be aware of that. You're out with the sun behind you, you're like, well, I can't see it. Or you're tilting it around, or you're like me where you got a light up here, it's reflecting on the screen. And because it's a touch screen, right? I'll bring this up again. Because it's a touch screen, guess what? You're touching it, right? And you are it's smudgy. It is really smudgy. I don't know if there's anyway. This is new to me, but I've got more smudges on this computer, and I got to clean it all the time because when we started this video, this probably looked okay. When we ended this video, it's got fingerprints all over it. Is it a big deal? For some. Just be aware. If you are going to use the touch feature, it's going to be fingerprinty. Would I recommend this computer? I love it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I do think the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM is the way to go, even if there are other options out there. I just think because you can't go into this and add, like, you can't add a hard drive to this. You can't internally. You can't add more RAM to it. Like there's no slot as far as I know. I've looked all over the place. I can't find one. So what you buy is kind of what you get. And if you buy the i5 version, because it's out there with the 8 gigs, I don't think that's going to give you the life that you want out of this computer. It's not going to give you necessarily the performance that you want out of the computer. i7 16 gigs, definitely the sweet spot and the model that I would recommend. Other than that, you can go external for hard drives, whatever. And yeah, it's good. I'm very, very happy with it. I'll put links down below to where you guys can get more information in regards to this. I'll put links to where you can pick one up if you're interested. And on a side note, I've actually been using this with the Huawei mouse. It's their rechargeable mouse, and mouse pad, which fantastic. I'll put links down below to that as well. And I've been using it with their 34-inch curved display, which again, so good. It's so good. It's an awesome combo. I love it. I'll just give you a for instance. We lost power the other night. Power was down for like, I don't know. It was down for about 4.5 hours, but they had said that it could be down for like a day and a half. I had this and that monitor plugged into like a big battery. I was enjoying life, watching some movies. I was good. Super pleased. And that's where I do the majority of my work, on that display. Links down below. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that little notification bell. You are going to be able to go down there to get more info. And that's it. That's all. Go watch another video somewhere. Watch one of our videos. Watch one of the videos down below on the different tests that we put this machine through. That's a good idea. Go do that. All right, guys, I'm out. Later.